Hi again, I'm Drew, your Armed Forces Heritage Museum narrator. Thank you for returning to learn about the incredible World War II experiences of Ernest Kaufman. We left him as he was released from Buchenwald concentration camp and departed Germany for America. He taught himself to speak English, and when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor and Germany declared war on the United States, he immediately got up and joined the Army. He excelled during basic training and was recommended for Officers Candidate School. Let's join him as he explains what happened after he landed in France and assumed the duties of an intelligence officer, interrogating German prisoners to obtain needed battlefield information.
In the middle of '42, Congress passed a law that anyone who had served honorably in the military for at least 6 months would not have to wait the customary 5 years that it takes for a legal immigrant to become naturalized and to become a citizen. Well, the minute my 6 months were up, I figured, why not? I applied to go to OCS. Well, it went to division headquarters, they approved it, sent the request on to Fort Benning, and the first week in January, I was on my way to Fort Benning to infantry officer training. Well, once we graduated, we all went in all kinds of different directions. I was shipped off to Fort McClellan in Alabama for infantry training there. I was drilling recruits, teaching them the same stuff that I'd just learned the year before. I got orders to go to the Pacific, and I went to headquarters and talked to the personnel officer and said, look, I speak German, I have a working knowledge of French. What can I do in the Pacific? In Europe, I can be of use. And he listened, and he changed my orders, and I went to Camp Ritchie in Maryland, which was an intelligence training center, where people were trained in psychological warfare, order of battle, and weapons training, and interrogation, photo interpretation, all the things that basically fall into the intelligence sector of work. It's a rush course where some people came right from basic training or got their basic training and then into combat training. And well, I had that already, so basically I got the course, and right after the course was over, I was shipped over to England and became a member, in fact second in command of a prisoner interrogation team.
How did you get to England?
We went to England on the Queen Elizabeth, which at that time, I think in '38, was commissioned, was supposed to be an ocean liner, and it had been taken over by the military. It was painted gray and whatnot, and anti-aircraft guns on top, and instead of 2,000 passengers, which was the ship's capacity, and 1,000 in crew, there were 12,000 of us who went over in one clip, sleeping on hammocks in the cabins in 8-hour shifts, and we made the trip in quick time, unescorted by any other ships, because the ship was fast enough to outrun U-boats. And an uneventful ride, except, like I say, we were kind of squeezed, and we were lucky to get on deck. And we landed in Scotland, and from there we went to the Salisbury Plains in England, near Swindon. There was Evesham and Warminster was a staging area for a lot of American troops. And there we were assigned to, the Military Intelligence Service assigned us to the 19th Corps, which was headquartered in Warminster. And while there, of course, we sort of honed our skills a little bit. We did practice training on German prisoners that had been captured in Africa and were in a stockade nearby. The unit commander was there, and he watched it, and he said, look, I want you, when we land in Normandy, I want you to be assigned to my unit. eventually it came to pass. We landed on D+5, and shortly thereafter I was with the 113th Cavalry and interrogating prisoners that we captured. I was with the front units all along, and at one point we were near the vicinity of a big wooded area in France. I don't know exactly anymore where it was. It was about the middle of July or so. In Forêt de Breteuil it was called. And the word was the woods are heavily defended by the Germans. They got a lot of traps in there and whatnot. We got to be careful. So I suggested to Colonel Biddle, who was the cavalry commander, why don't we try a hog calling deal? Well, he agreed, and I went with my jeep, sandwiched between two light tanks, moving slowly towards the woods. And there I just, with an improvised loudspeaker, foghorn or whatever it was, I hollered into the woods that, look, why are you Germans still fighting the war? You know you've lost the war anyhow, and we're making steady progress. You're better off being American prisoners, and not only that, we treat you well, you even get American cigarettes and whatnot. And why don't you just give up? Because why fight for a losing cause? I mean, words to that effect, not exactly the same thing. And another shot was fired at us, and we pulled back, and the next morning we went through the woods, collected about 100 prisoners without firing a shot.
This is just the beginning of his story. As the war progresses and the Allied forces move into Germany, Mr. Kaufman has experiences that are as courageous as they are effective. Tune in to the next episode to witness his adventure.